How you doing, folks? Papa Joe here. Been going on a few rants. Not that you've noticed, right? I've been through a little training in my days. One of them was on leadership. One of the most important things I took away from that class was that anybody can point out a problem. Ain't got to be nobody special. But it takes a leader to have a solution or suggestion. So they told us that whenever you voice a complaint or a problem, an issue, have a suggestion to resolve it. Now, I've been tearing this up pretty good. Black Lives Matters, the American and general public, or the American public in general, however you want to say that. And pointing out a lot of our faults and a lot of stuff we're doing wrong. Well, to make my teachers proud, although they'll never know, I got a solution or two, or a suggestion or two. We all grew up with them old sayings, and there's a reason they got to be old sayings. I'm just looking at the difference in them two arms. This one got burnt today in that window. They got to be old sayings, and they've hung around all these years because there was something to them. As a nation, we need to go back to our roots. We need to find our fundamental American roots. And those roots are rooted in, deeply in, God, family, honor, respect. There was a time that a man's word was his bond. There was a time you was only as good as your word. And we've got away from teaching that to our children. Now, to be honest, I tried teaching that to my children. It took with some and it didn't with some. But our biggest problem with the youth that's coming out is back in the 60s and 70s and on into the 80s is when they really pushed it. They quit letting you bust their ass. And the Bible tells you, spare the rod and spoil the child. There's nothing wrong with discipline and correcting a child. They're supposed to be. You don't have to beat them within an inch of their life and all that. But through fear, they learn respect. If they know that if they cross this line, they're going to get their ass busted, they're going to respect that line. If they know that if they mess up at school and school calls home and mom or dad's going to bust their ass, they'll be more respectful at school. It used to be that teacher would call the parent, and the parent and teacher would talk and agree upon a way to get this child to do better in school. Nowadays, the teacher's afraid to call the parent. The parent probably come down and try to beat him up. Because my kid can't do wrong. You just must be a bad teacher. And the kid has absolutely no respect for that teacher, that school, their fellow students. Then we wonder where we get the bullying from and where we get the thugs from. It starts at home. What are you teaching them? And Black Lives Matter, same thing goes for y'all. Now, I've had some decent conversations with some Black Lives Matter people and online. One of their things that just aggravates them in this debate is that we keep telling them, what about your black on black crimes? What about your black on black murders? Oh, well, that don't count. That ain't what this is about. This is about the unjust police, the unjust society, the unjust everything. Well, a solution and suggestion. One, what's the old saying? Clean your own backyard before you start complaining about your neighbor's backyard. If you can't get control of your children in your neighborhood, then why are you trying to blame somebody else? The police try to police your neighborhoods. And when there are crimes, nobody wants to talk to the man. Don't talk to the popo. Don't give him any information. Don't help him to solve this crime, this murder, this whatever. Make him do it the hard way and let it go unsolved. Read an article about the NBA. I'm not into sports at all, and I shared it. I want to try to look it up. He was blatantly honest. I bet you $1 to a donut he made some folks mad at him. Give me a second. I don't know, y'all get tired of hearing that. Here it is. NBA, and like I said, I don't know this guy. I'm not into sports, not in the least little bit. I don't watch football. I don't do NASCAR. I know. That's it. No college football for me, no NFL. Damn near anti-American, ain't it? Let me find a place to start here. Alright, NBA legend Charles Barkley gave an interview recently to, and I imagine some of y'all know who Charles Barkley is. Evidently he's a big shot in basketball. Let's see. I'm going to skip that part. Now this is just quoting him. He says, well, no, I do need to back up for him. Read that. Let me back up here. I'm just going to read you the whole damn thing. In light of the 49er quarterback Colin Kaepernick's, or however you say his name, outrageous accusation that the United States is a country that oppresses people of color, it's worth noting that NBA legend Charles Barkley gave an interview recently to a local Philadelphia radio station in which he stated that unintelligent, brainwashed African Americans, not whites or cops, are the ones keeping successful blacks down. Now, before you go on a rant, hear the man out. As Blue Lives Matter reports, Barkley was posted a question on the radio show Afternoons with Anthony Gargano and Rob Ellis about a rumor that Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson was being accused by his teammates of not being black enough. Barkley responded this way: "Unfortunately, as I tell my white friends, we as black people were never going to be successful, not because of you white people, but because of other black people. When you're black, you have to deal with so much crap in your life from other black people. It's a dirty, dark secret. I'm glad it's coming out. One of the reasons we're never going to be successful as a whole because of other black people. And for some reason we are brainwashed to think if you're not a thug or an idiot, you're not black enough. If you go to school, make good grades, speak intelligent, and don't break the law, you're not a good black person. And it's a dirty, dark secret. There are a lot of black people who are unintelligent, who don't have success. It's best to knock a successful black person down because they're intelligent. They speak well, they do well in school, and they're successful. We're the only ethnic group who say, hey, if you go to jail, it gives you street cred. It's just typical BS that goes on when you're a black man. If you can't get those thoughts out of your youth's head, and this is by, I guess he grew up in a black neighborhood. He's a black man and he talks like he knows the black neighborhood. If you can't get that mentality out of your youth that you've got to be a bad person to be a good black, you're going to have problems. If that is the mentality that the black youth, and I assume in the inner city, is being raised on, then you wonder why you have cop issues. Now you got cops that are trying to patrol your neighborhoods. You're not helping. If you're not helping to solve the problems and the crimes, how can you blame the black cop or the cop? If the black people as a whole don't trust them, won't help them, that is what they're being taught since youth, I don't get it. It goes back to that old saying, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You want the cops there to keep the gangbangers in line and whatnot, but you don't want to help? Really? Try this on for size. Boycott the cops in your neighborhood and tell them, just stop coming in our neighborhood. Just stop. We don't trust you. We don't like you. You're trying to shoot all the black people that you see. Just stop coming in our neighborhoods. And y'all police yourself. Y'all solve your own crimes. Y'all do your thing. Just leave them evil cops out. Don't even let them in your neighborhood. Build one of them fences Trump's talking about around your neighborhood to keep the cops out. Really? I'll tell you something else. And I know you have a problem. I really do. And I'm not trying to make light of your problem. And it ain't going to be an easy problem for you to fix. Ignoring the black on black crime and murder and trying to holler that it don't count doesn't help your cause. When someone like me brings it up, and you call me a racist and a cracker and a KKK member, and you must be late for your KKK meeting, and I've heard all that, or I've read it, that don't help your case. That's typical Democratic nonsense and hate. If I don't agree with you, then I must be some kind of bad name. I must be something other than just a okay guy that disagrees with you. Quit with all the nonsense. But I really don't think you can. Just like that NBA guy was talking about, that it's bled into you, that you got, or bred into you and taught from birth, that you have to be some kind of a thug or something to have any street credit. Well, the same thing. You got to talk that smack, don't you? You got to rant and rave and cuss and carry on and try to belittle whoever's disagreeing with you. Well, that might work on your streets, but it don't work on these streets out here. All it does out here is make you look like a damn fool. An unintelligent, ignorant fool. Just like your NBA guy said there. If you can't break that mental code, you got a long, hard road to hoe. Blaming the white guy isn't your answer. Blaming the white cop, or cops in general, isn't your answer. Getting out there stopping the traffic and interflowing the working class people is not your answer. Your answer is going to be go back home and start on your local level. Start in your backyard. Just like I said for the regular Americans when I started this. Start by teaching your youth differently. Teach them right from wrong. Teach them respect. Go down to your city council and start being an active member participating in city council meetings. Go to your schools and start being an active member down there. Turn off your TV, get off your ass, and do something locally. Start fixing your problems locally. And when you do that, then you might be able to have a little bit of credit to you. And I ain't talking about street credit, I'm talking about real credit, where you can say to the public, we have started fixing our problem on our end. Now we ask for help fixing it on the other end. But if all you're going to do is get mad, riot, burn, destroy, kill, beat up, if that's your solution to seeking help, you're not going to get the kind of help that you want. Clean up your own backyard first. And yeah, I know, that ain't going to be met with good reviews either. But it is what it is. Yes, we have problems. And whether it's with America as a whole, Black Lives Matter, the Ku Klux Klan, the Dixie Chicks, I don't care. It all needs to go back to our fundamental roots. And those roots are deep in the Bible. With that, I'm going to tell you, God loves you. He can still save our nation. God loves you and so do I. Y'all have a blessed evening. Think and pray about it. Good night.